This is Michael Popok, Legal AF, with breaking news about a plot to kill at least 37 FBI agents devised by a current Jan 6th insurrectionist defendant. You've heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. When you have an ex-president who goes on his social media platforms and calls for the attack on FBI and other legitimate arms of our government and federal officials, like judges, this is exactly what happens for his unstable and crazy supporters. They take it as a dog whistle, as a instruction, like a Manchurian candidate, to go out and do harm in the name of Donald Trump. How many federal judges have to be attacked and or assassinated? How many FBI agents and police have to be ambushed before Donald Trump will stop his maniacal threats on democracy? And now we have the case of Edward Kelly. Edward Kelly at one point was just one of 946 defendants who attacked the Capitol as an insurrectionist on Jan 6th. Now, adding to his badge of dishonor is that Edward Kelly and another friend of his, Austin Carter, in Knoxville, Tennessee, devised a plot that was only stopped by a tip of an acquaintance who they tried to drag into the conspiracy, a plot to kill every FBI agent that executed the arrest warrant on Edward Kelly, and 37 others that these two dangerous idiots kept on a list that they were going to, I guess, check off and move down as they assassinated federal officials. Good news is a citizen, a patriot, an acquaintance turned them in to the Department of Justice and the FBI, along with recordings of conversations in which they very clearly laid out their plot to assassinate at least 37 FBI agents around the country. And we have the Department of Justice unsealing the indictment against Kelly and Carter related to this attack. How does this happen? How do people, even when they are arrested and caught and are being prosecuted for the Jan 6 insurrection, how do they think it's appropriate in their addled mind to also, while out on charges and awaiting their next phase of their prosecution, to plot to kill FBI agents? Now, these two dangerous disciples of Donald Trump won't see the light of day ever again once convicted of these crimes. Out of the 964 people that were arrested, 465 of them already pled guilty, but we're not out of the woods yet, because a number of these yahoos, a number of these dangerous disciples of Donald Trump could plot to do something else again in their own skewed upside down world, in the name of patriotism or support of Trumpism or MAGA. This is what happens when you have a former despot, a narcissistic despot who can't stop clinging to power, and all he wants to do, what he thinks, is gain publicity and celebrity for himself, but all he's doing is putting innocent FBI agents and federal officials, law enforcement, police, and judges in harm's way, and the press in harm's way, and putting a laser scope on their back, a target on their back, because he calls them all the enemy of the people and that they have to be attacked. That clarion call for chaos is then picked up by the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world, the Jim Jordans of the world, and others. And it reverberates. They have the megaphone, and it reverberates through social media, and it makes its way into the ear holes of people like Austin Carter and Edward Kelly, who think, like they thought on Jan 6th, that the president, in their demented thinking, was talking to them. They heard voices in their heads, but it wasn't a German shepherd telling them to kill people like the son of Sam. It was the president of the United States, or now the former president of the United States, telling them to do harm in their own way. And if Donald Trump claims, well, that's not what I meant, Be careful with your words. No one knows that better now than Donald Trump when he tweeted in December before Jan 6th, come to the Capitol. It's going to be wild. What does he think that's going to, what could he possibly think would happen with that message in the hands of the crazed, fervent, white supremacist, racist, and other people that cling to his candidacy? Exactly what happened. It was almost the accidental toppling of America and democracy. But thank God for our Department of Justice, our law enforcement and FBI, who were able to snip the wires on this bomb before it went off. This is Michael Popok reporting about the plot to kill 37 FBI agents brought by one of the current Jan 6th insurrection defendants while he was out on bail awaiting sentence.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.